Welcome to the fall semester, and welcome to participatory and socially engaged art. I've seen the roster, and I know many of you from previous semesters, so it's nice to have you back. Thank you for taking my class again, and to the rest of you, thank you also for taking my class. So what we're going to do for this first quick video, which I'll do my best to keep short because it's somewhat boring, but necessary, is we're going to go over the logistics of the class and the syllabus. And this is especially important with a remote semester that we're facing here. So please do your best to follow along and not be too bored. So here we go. This is the website that I've made for the class. It's on CUNY Commons, CUNY Academic Commons. More on that in a second. And it's very straightforward, so it should be very user-friendly, which is great because you're going to be coming to this website quite often. So right now, you will have received the link in the email I gave you, which is how you're even hearing me here. Right now, we have the syllabus tab on the left here, which you can click on, and you would have done that already because you're watching this video. And the syllabus is right below here. So go ahead and download that as a PDF and keep it on whatever device you use to keep your files. We're going to come back to that in a second, but I do want to show you the rest of the layout of the website because it's important. So every Sunday I'm going to upload a lecture. So there's no lecture yet, and that will be under the lectures tab. And I'll explain more about the lectures once we go over the syllabus. There's also a tab called Schedule of Student Presentations. And that is self-explanatory. It's the schedule of student presentations. So in this class, everyone will join with a partner, and once during the semester, we'll present on a specific case study from our textbook, which from our book, which I'll also explain in a second. You want to email me by September 2nd, so this is technically our second meeting, the first Wednesday in September. You want to email me by then if you have a preference for which week you go to, either because of your schedule or maybe you have a pre-existing interest in some of these artists or some of these movements that we're going to end up talking about. So take a look. The schedule is here. Right now, of course, it says presented by no one, but as it trickles in, as you all tell me which ones you want to present on, the partners will be updated to the website. And if you have a friend in the class, you can just let me know if you would like to partner up with each other. I have no problem with that. You can do that. Just let me know, and then I'll assign you both to the same week. So that's the schedule of student presentations, which again we're going to talk about more when I go over the syllabus. And then there's an assignments tab, which doesn't have anything yet, but it will. I will give you tips, and I'll probably be reactive to your questions during the semester. I'll give you tips and advice and criteria for the assignments in this class, and that'll be a resource that'll be on its own separate tab here. All right, so this is very, very helpful, very straightforward. So now let's go to the syllabus because it's really important to know how we're going to be running this class and what's expected of all of us, really. And so it's participatory and socially engaged art. So these are forms of practices that involve the public, that involve social situations, political situations, directly within the work itself. So it's usually very interactive and very public-facing. So what we're going to do in this class, we're going to consider some historical precedents in the historical avant-gardes, like the futurists, like the surrealists. Then we're going to go to some post-war examples, and then it'll be brought up to the 90s and to contemporary art. And it's going to be, once we get to the contemporary section, it's going to expand out and it's going to be more global. So the class in some ways starts as sort of a Western phenomenon, almost wholly European, And then it fans out, and we get a number of examples from different parts of the world, which is great. So that's, essentially the lay of the land content-wise of the course. And then I do have objectives here for you, so go ahead and read those. I think the most interesting thing for our purposes that's somewhat new is that part of the objectives will be to have you use digital tools that are available for these remote classes. So more on that when we get to the attendance participation. So we meet on Wednesdays from 6:15 to 9:05, but that's not actually when we're gonna meet. This is a synchronous and asynchronous course, so we will be meeting once a week on Zoom. But certainly not for the whole 2 hours and 40 minutes or whatever time that is. We're going to meet for probably, it depends how long your presentations go, how good our conversations are, but probably around 40 minutes to an hour, something like that. No more than that. I feel like once you get past the hour mark, Zoom just gets very, very tiring and defeating. So we're going to try to go with these presentations. When we do meet once a week, we're going to go for quality over quantity. So those will be the synchronous parts where we all meet together once a week. The asynchronous parts are the lectures I upload every Sunday, which you'll be able to watch anytime you'd like. This is one of the really nice things about the remote way of running these courses, is that some of the content you can just do on your own schedule, right? So that'll be nice. So that'll be configured into the class time, which will sort of round out our weekly sessions together. So we're going to be both synchronous, we're going to meet together, but we are also going to have lectures and work where you're doing it on your own when best suits your schedule. So I like that mix. I like that flexibility. Office hours will just be by appointment, and of course, if you have questions during our weekly Zoom sessions, those are good times to ask questions. And you have my email here, so I'm usually pretty good about responding to questions. So if you'd like to just shoot off a quick question to me, that's a good way to do it too. So your text for this class, which is required, is Claire Bishop's Artificial Hells, Participatory Art and the Politics of Spectatorship from 2012. It looks like this, right here. It's from Verso. Right now it looks like they have a sale, $20, not too bad for a book, and a free ebook if you want it. You can find it anywhere, though. It's a well-known book, well-known resource. So you should be able to find a copy in all sorts of different places. Try to patron independent places that need help. Try to steer clear from Amazon if you can. But that's just a suggestion. So that's the required text. And we're basically going to be reading it together throughout the semester. I'm going to be supplying you through the lectures hints and ways of reading the text that will help you. So the lectures, in some ways, I think you might want to watch the lecture before you read, but you don't have to. You can do it the other way around. And I'm also going to give you other examples and other content that's not in the book itself. So that's the textbook. The requirements for the class, there are 3 grades for the course of the semester. The first is attendance and participation. And this is going to be gauged in more than one way. So like I said, every Sunday on our website, I'm going to post a lecture that I record for you. And you can watch that anytime, right on Sunday. It will usually be Sunday, early afternoon, probably, maybe even the morning. You can watch it on Sunday if you like. You can watch it on Monday. You can watch it on Tuesday. You can watch it on Wednesday. Whatever is best for you. For that, I'm going to gauge your attendance and participation through written comments. On the website, you'll be able to comment under the video and ideally have a class conversation before we ever get on Zoom through text. So these written comments should be substantive, at a minimum about a paragraph each, and you can write more than one, right? I realize with these kind of things that if you're just trying to get your attendance, you'll just go in and write a few things and just be careless and just get something down. And I understand some weeks might be very busy, and you'll just write a quick thing just to sort of be counted. But please try. It's really good to think through writing and think through like this sort of discussion board format. It can be quite good. So students will start having conversation with each other about that week's reading and my lecture, and good things can happen. And of course, I'm going to moderate it. I have to accept all the comments, and I might very well, like on really good comments, I might very well come in with my own voice and add some thoughts. So that'll be really good. Maybe the most important thing here, because I think you probably all know that the online world can sometimes be this cesspool of trolling and nastiness and grossness. I don't expect any of that from you, and always be respectful and substantive in your comments. So that'll be part of your attendance participation. If you have commented by our week, by our Zoom session on Wednesday, your attendance will be counted, and if your comments are really good, your participation grade, like this grade, will go up. This grade is also going to be informed by your presence and voice in our Zoom sessions, which will be they should be very interactive, and they're student-led. So whereas the lectures, of course, are guided solely by me, and a PowerPoint that I go through in a video with you, our weekly Zoom sessions are going to be student-driven presentations. Okay, so like I said, when I was talking about the schedule of student presentation, you're going to buddy up with a fellow student, and you're going to present during one of our Zoom sessions over the semester. You're going to co-present on a specific artist or collective, and I've singled these out for you in the class schedule, which in the course schedule, which we're going to get to in a second here on the syllabus. I'm going to provide some general guidelines and tips on these presentations under that assignment tab on the website that I just showed you before. And I will also sort of give you, for the people who are presenting on any given week, you will want to do, it will be from Bishop's book, but you do want to do a little extra reading, either like on museum websites or an extra source or something like that on the artist or the collective that you're dealing with, so that you can provide more information to everybody else who have just come in by reading the chapter. And I can help you here. I'm going to upload at least one extra source for the presenters on that list on that schedule of student presenters. So you'll just read a little bit more. But these presentations, I really want them to be, I don't want them to be like stilted and like overly academic. Like they should be informative and critical, but I want them to be kind of fun. And I want them to facilitate discussion. Okay, so there will be more on that. I'm going to give you tips, although I think you have a general idea of what it'll be like. Like one of the presenters will share their screen, will have a PowerPoint that both presenters will have worked on, and you're going to go back and forth presenting the information and the artist or the collective that you're dealing with, and trying to get people on Zoom to, in some ways, participate in the discussion. So these will be once a week. For most weeks, you'll see this the course schedule, and they should be fun, hopefully. So we meet technically 6:15 to 9:05. So for the Zoom sessions each week, we're going to meet at 6:15 to maybe 7:15. Again, you're doing all this other stuff. You're watching my videos. You're going to be working on your own work. So we're not going to try to be on Zoom for 2 hours and 45 minutes, which I find to be way too much. That said, if I'm gonna say this in the email, or if you already know this in the email I sent you so that you would watch this video, if we can start earlier, since we're not actually meeting in person, if we can start at 6 or maybe even 5:30 or 5, if that works for everybody, I would be on board, because 6:15 starts to feel a little late, and I think our minds are maybe a little fresher around 5:30 or 5. But that's only if it works with everybody's schedule. If other people have work commitments or other courses, no problem. We'll do 6:15 to around 7 o'clock, something like that, or 7:15. Okay, so attendance participation is 30%. Partnered presentations will be 30%. And then your last grade for the course, like your last criteria, your last requirement, is a final research project. And here I give you two options, although I'm going to heavily encourage you to take one of them, to choose one rather than the other. So if you're an art history student, and if you'd like to work on a topic that will end up being a piece of writing that you might eventually publish or use in some kind of application that would look impressive, then you can write a standard research paper on a topic relevant to our class. Otherwise, you have the option to curate a virtual exhibition for this course on your CUNY Commons website. Which might be, it will still be research. You're going to write a curatorial essay. You're going to upload a video, you presenting your exhibition. You're going to embed different forms of media like images and videos. You're going to curate an exhibition online. This could be, it's going to be somewhat rigorous. It's going to be academic. It's going to be well researched and argued. But this might actually be a little more enjoyable and just maybe a little bit more fun and interesting to do for those of you who don't really want to have like a longer research paper. And it's going to take, the fact that we're remote. We can, what's the saying? Make lemonade out of lemons or whatever. If we're remote, let's use some of these remote tools that we have. So CUNY Commons is really good. You can make a WordPress, a professional WordPress blog website from scratch for free, which is what I'm using for our course website. And then you can have a lot of fun with it. You can make a virtual exhibition, which I'll then grade. Either route you take, there are going to be key deadlines for you that are interspersed throughout the semester. So this will be a scaffolded assignment. So again, see course schedule below, which we will in a second. I always include academic integrity on my syllabi, so always be honest, never ever plagiarize, always just turn in something late rather than plagiarize, because it's easy to catch, and it's much better just to have a couple points off for lateness than a 0 for plagiarism. Students with disabilities, if anyone needs any accommodations for this class, and keep in mind that the YouTube videos that I use to upload my lectures onto our website, there is closed captioning. So if you ever have trouble hearing me, or if you ever want to have closed captioning, you can turn it on. But if there's anything else you might need, the CUNY system is wonderful for this. Each campus has a disability center, accessibility center, and City College is no different. So go ahead and contact them, and then and your needs will be met. Okay, and so the last thing for us is the schedule and the readings. So, of course, here's the website, which you already have. Here is today, where I just say hello and we go over the syllabus. Then starting September 2nd, we go into the content. Each week, we're going to have a specific reading, a specific passage or part of Artificial Hells, a Bishop's book. So the first week is I think like the more theoretical introduction to participatory and socially engaged work. So this will be maybe the most difficult reading of the whole semester. So don't be scared off by it. The rest of the chapters are far more far less theoretical than this first one. But it's important to sort of lay out the general theoretical contours of this type of work. And so on September 2nd, we're going to have our first Zoom session from 6:15 to roughly 7:15, unless everyone can meet a little earlier, in which case it'll change. And the artist to focus on is Jeremy Deller. And so in my email to you, I'll have asked the two students who would like to present early, and they will be presenting on Deller. And then when we go on from there, it's in many ways self-explanatory. We're working chronologically. So September 9th, 16th, and 23rd, we deal with the historical avant-gardes, precedents of this type of work in the early 20th century. So Futurism, the Russian Revolution, and Dada. Okay, so each time you have the pages from Artificial Hells. Those are the readings for that week. Then we get, by September 30th, we get to the post-war moment. We begin with Situationism, the Situationists, and the Situationist International. That will be what a couple of students will be presenting on. That day, your final project topic will be due. So this is, 5 weeks from now or something like that. So start thinking about what you would like to work on. Because it'll be due on September 30th. Everybody will have to email me a final project by that, a topic. Then October 2nd, we move on to Argentina. And I'm going to give you in my lecture, I'm going to give you other examples of this type of work, especially from Brazil, which is especially rich with this kind of participatory, with these participatory practices. Then on October 21st, I've given you a break there. So we're going to have a Zoom where no one's presenting on that week. It's just going to be me and you, and I'll probably make it non-mandatory. Maybe if you just want to use that time to work, to write, or catch up on anything, that's okay. But I'll be available basically over Zoom to answer any questions or to guide you or give you advice for the work you've already started doing, especially for your final project, right? By this point, it'll be very clear what works in these Zoom presentations and what doesn't. But at that point, I'm also free to talk about anyone who is still due to present. So October 28th, we look at participation under socialism. We go out east behind the Iron Curtain. Then on November 4th, we look at what's called Artist Project. This is an interesting chapter, one of the more interesting chapters. And on that day, the final project, annotated bibliography, will be due. This is if you were doing the research and if you're doing the virtual exhibition. You want to have a group of good texts that you've read and that you'll be using to present either in your research writing or in your researched virtual exhibition. So that'll be due on November 4th. November 8th, we talk about delegated performances. November 18th, we talk about art as pedagogy. And that will be our last presentation. We have 20 students and 10 presentations, so it works out really well. If anyone ends up dropping, we will then either have someone present by themselves, or I can try to help that week. Or if, let's say, we go down to 18, then basically we'll just scratch one of the presentation weeks. Hopefully all 20 students stay, right? And then it works out beautifully. It's rare for the math to work out so well with presentations. 20 students, 10 presentations of 2 partners. But we'll just see how it goes. In any case, November 18th will be the last presentation and your last reading. Because December 2nd, December 9th, I'm not going to give you any reading. And we're not even going to have Zoom sessions those 2 weeks because you're going to be working on your final projects. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you lectures of certain key areas that our textbook, that Bishop's book, doesn't quite touch on. And that would be participatory, or maybe not enough, which doesn't mean that the book is lacking. It has so much. But on December 2nd, we're going to talk about participation in other non-Western contexts. And then on that's December 2nd, and then on December 9th, we're going to talk about participation and ecology and environmentalism. And then on December 16th, your final projects will be due. So you'll either send me your research paper for those who wanted to do a research paper, or you're going to send me the link to your shiny virtual exhibition from your website, your CUNY Academic Commons website. So that'll be great. It'll be fun. And so that's it. That's it for this hopefully brief first video. Again, I know this is boring. It's just the logistics of the class, but it's important that everybody knows how everything is working. So until September 2nd, where that Sunday before you're going to get my first lecture, and that Wednesday we will meet and our first brave two students, will present on Jeremy Deller, and hopefully make connections with the text and facilitate a really nice first discussion. Okay, everybody, take care.